Greetings to all of you. Welcome back to the session of Unit 2. So Unit 2 is nothing but, as I said, it is natural resources, among them renewable and non-renewable resources. So in this video lecture, I am going to explain about water resources. So as all of you know, water has very much special properties. As there is water and oxygen, there only the life can exist. That's why that is the best place for the existence of all kind of creatures. So I'm going to give brief introduction about water resources. So water resources are the source of water that are useful or potential use. That includes, these are the various sources of water: lakes, oceans, ponds, and drinking water, glaciers, water vapor, underground, and many more like this. Uses of water includes uses. Where do you use? You can also quote many more, right? Simply I am going to give few examples relate to this one. So it can be used in agriculture, industrial, household, recreational, environmental, vapor, everywhere in battery, everywhere. Without water, there is no, you can say, there is no development, survival, etc. And all these human activities includes, for all this, we need only fresh water, not the sea water. That is most important point. So what are the physical attributes, or simply you can say anomalous behavior or special character of water? So water can be found in three states: solid state in the form of ice, liquid as the water exists in lakes, ponds, etc. etc. In case of gaseous, form of vapor state. So this is the distribution of water on Earth. So about 71% of Earth's surface is covered with water, and 21% only land. So if you see in case of plants and animals also, the major constituent is water only. Human body 70%, if you see leafy vegetables 90%, like this. Everywhere the water has a high percentage. So this is a ratio of water resource on the earth. But though see in the previous slide, as I have shown you, 71% of Earth's surface is covered with water, but out of them, how much percentage is useful for our utilization? For whatever we are using, all we need fresh water only. So that 71% totally, it is not at all fresh water. So among 97% of total water on Earth, it is salt water only. So in 71% of total surface, among them, again 97% salt water or sea water. So remaining only 3% is fresh water. Among this, 1/3 of this 3% is frozen in glaciers and ice caps. The remaining unfrozen water is found as groundwater, with a small fraction present above ground and in air. So very less percentage of water, fresh water, is useful or is available for our useful activities or for our daily activities. So what are the main problems? Simply you can say water problems. So fresh water is a renewable resource, at the world's supply for clean water is steadily decreasing. Water demand exceeds supply in many parts of the world, and as the population is continues to increase, so too does the water demand. So day by day, as the utilities, high population, industrialization, urbanization, civilization, we are cutting forests, all this leads to the water problems. And also apart from all these things, so as you know, the awareness of global importance of preserving water for ecosystem services has only recently emerged as during 20th century. half of the wetlands have been lost along with their valuable environmental services for water education. So, as day by day we are telling that science is growing, industrialization is increasing, technology is going in a wide range. We are going to find more aircrafts or missiles, or you can say many programming languages. But above all these things, the water resources are going to be depleted day by day. The framework for allocation of water resource to water users, where such a framework exists, is known as water rights. So government has made certain policies, simply you can say as water rights. What are the sources of fresh water? So surface water is a water in river, lake or freshwater wetlands. So surface water is naturally replenished by precipitation and naturally lost through discharge to the oceans by evaporation, transpiration and subsurface seepage. Natural surface water can be augmented by importing surface water from another watershed through a canal or pipeline. So suppose if you say lake, or you can say for example Manjira water supply is there in Rangareddy district of Hyderabad in Telangana. So from there through pipeline they are going to get this water, and some you can say watersheds or water tanks are being constructed again. Through these canals or pipelines they are being distributed to all these. So it can artificially augmented from any of the other sources. So humans can cause surface water to be lost or unfit for any use through pollution called as water pollution. So what is the major cause for the surface water loss? So factors which can be human induced or natural, which are responsible for surface water loss, are mainly due to the storage capacity in lakes, wetlands and artificial reservoirs, the permeability of soil beneath these storage bodies and the runoff. We are going to use consumption of water in a high range. For example, Brazil is the country estimated to have the largest supply of fresh water, followed by Russia and Canada. So if you go to the Cape Town of South Africa, so there is no existence of water at all. That's why people have moved from that place to or migrated to various other places. So where there is fresh water supply, obviously all these things will happen in a proper way. If there is no fresh water supply, obviously people have to migrate. And the river flow. So throughout the course of river, the total volume of water transported downstream will often be a contribution flowing through subsurface rocks and gravels that underlie the river, and its floodplain is called as hypothetic zone. So this one you please underline, this is a hypothetic zone. For many rivers in large valleys, this unseen component of flow may greatly exceed the visible flow. Groundwater, this is very important, whatever we are going to get for our daily needs, mainly because of this groundwater resource only. So the subsurface water or groundwater is fresh water located in the pore space of soil and rocks. So that's what, if you want to construct a building, obviously initially the first step which has to be taken is we have to place a bore. Unless water supply is there, the construction cannot be done. So it is also water that is flowing within aquifers below the water table. What is aquifer? Just pause this video, think and answer this, right? So a layer of sediment or rock that highly permeable and contains water, that is called as aquifer, right? So it is also water that is flowing within aquifers below the water table. Subsurface water is closely associated with the surface water, and deep surface water is an aquifer. This is also known as a fossil water. So the only difference is due to its rate of turnover, subsurface water storage, etc. So why all these things happens? Because of the high population and more utilization. The natural outputs from subsurface water is springs and seepage to the oceans. So if there occurs a continuous evaporation, subsurface water may become saline. So if it also becomes saline water is nothing but seawater. So which becomes a useless water, which you cannot use it for our daily needs. So all these things can be happened if the water cycle is maintaining in a proper ratio. So what is water cycle? It describes how water evaporates from the surface of the earth, rises into the atmosphere, cools and condenses into rain or snowing clouds, and falls again on the surface as precipitation. This is the water cycle. As you know, this is the major resource. It evaporates, sun, it evaporates, it condenses, that again is precipitates. From this again vapor transport, or it somewhere else it precipitates, right? It can be fall on lands where trees and all these things are there. So some of them can be again run off back here, or some groundwater it is going to maintain or sustain. So this whole thing is called as water cycle. So we are supposed to maintain conservation of water resources. So which may include all policies, strategies and activities to sustainably manage the natural resource of fresh water, to protect the hydrosphere and to meet the current and future human demand. Thank you. So next lecture I am going to give explanation about various other types of renewable and non-renewable resources. Thank you all.